I'm your lovely host Becca Chu, and welcome back to Everlasting Summer. So we got all the ingredients for the cake. Apparently we really didn't get any, but now we're going on a hike. That sounds like a lot of fun, considering we almost had like a death trap incident almost happen. But anywho, I'm gonna continue right where I'm at. Although we both seem to be in the same boat now. I slowly approach Zinnia, or Zinhea, or how you say her name. Well, I guess we'll be going together. She looked up at me. "Don't you even think that I'm glad?" said Xenia seriously. "Why on earth you should feel glad?" I asked naively. "Never mind. It would be much better if you just shut up." Eh? Couldn't get any better than this. She turned her back on me and followed the other pioneers. I still haven't seen any special reason to walk in pairs. Anyway, we were walking on the well-trodden forest trails, and it would be quite difficult to get lost here, even if I wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing into the depths of the forest trying to face all the dangers that could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits, but instead we were just walking around in circles. However, if we take into account that Olga was our chief, this hike would be compared to a hobbit's march from Shire to Mordor. Oh my god, a Lord of the Rings reference! That's so cool! I want to play Lord of the Rings now. I'm mad at you. Freaking love that series. Just as Zinnia insisted, I was following her at a distance in silence. The librarian seemed to be perfectly okay with it. "Hey, don't you know when we'll reach our destination?" "Our what?" The place where we'll settle down and set up camp." "The whole point of this hike isn't to set up camp, but the hiking itself." "You don't get it." Yeah, it seemed that I didn't understand a thing about hiking. "I guess you're right, but still." "I don't know," she replied sharply and quickened her pace. I caught up with her and asked, "Listen, why are you always so," I was about to say mean, but stopped short. She is mean. Like, she's cute, but she's mean. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. "Always so what?" "Well, unsociable, kind of. Or is it something about me?" "Oh, cut that stupidity out already." "As you wish." She looks mean. She's scary. I decided not to start a conversation with her for the rest of the hike. At last, Olga decided to end this suspenseful. It's time to halt. The place chosen turned out to be quite large glade with a few tree trunks laid in half circle to make an improvised arbor with the remains of a campfire in the middle. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. I was sent to gather firewood together with the other boys. It didn't take long because there were a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. It's forest. There's always like a bunch of stuff. You just gotta be careful. There's bugs under them too, but bugs don't bother me. I think bugs bother some guys though. I know it mainly bothers girls for some weird reason. I think it's weird when it does that because I'm like, they're just bugs. You can squash them. Now if it's a snake, that's a different story. I'd be nervous if I saw a snake. Eventually, Olga lit the fire using some old newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there, but couldn't discern anything other than the Soviet symbols. Pioneers took their places on the fallen log benches and started to talk about things. It seems that the final goal of this event had been achieved. The only things missing were a pot of fish soup, aluminum cups of vodka, and a guitar. But I wouldn't be surprised if all of this would appear somehow. "What are you thinking about?" Sylvia sat next to me. "Oh, nothing special. Just enjoying the hike," I answered sarcastically. "You don't look too happy." "Well, I'm not about to jump for joy. Sorry about that." "Okay, I won't disturb you." She sat with me for a while, but after realizing that I was in the mood of talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. And all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible, but I was being surrounded by smoke and the useless chatter of pioneers around me instead. They were cheering, laughing, and in general enjoying this warm summer evening. In the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Alyssa intensely. Tensely and Lena seemed like complete opposites to me. Sylvalia had left to go somewhere after our conversation, it seems. Electronic and Shirk were fiercely to prove something to Olga. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. Try to find out what Alyssa and Lena are arguing about. Do nothing, just stay seated. I'm gonna try and find out what happened because, you know, waifu right there. Alyssa, I don't really care for. She scares me. It's cool that she can rock out on a guitar, but nah, man. But on the other hand, why should I care? All I was doing was just watching the fire. There's a saying that claims that one could watch it forever as well as running water, but there are also some third thing there. What was that? Did I accidentally click the wrong one? Because it did not do it. Oh no, I clicked the right one, never mind. Let's see if I can, oh shit. I can't skip it. But there's something, what was that? One could watch three things for burning fire, running water, and how other people work. The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Simon, don't you think that it's too early to relax, but what else would I need to do? Honestly, I couldn't get what Olga wanted from me. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. She smiled enviously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on. After those words, I'm completely sure that she treats me like a personal slave. Or at least I'm a free labor force, which is strictly speaking the same thing. I sighed and put my head down on my hands, hoping my torments would be over for today. Someone patted me on the shoulder. Looked up and saw an Electronic who sat next to me. What do you want? I asked tiredly. Don't be sad. Is there anything else better to do? Look, we've been discussing the possibilities for the advancement of Cybernetics Club with Olga. And there's a problem. We need more guys. If you could... No! What if I don't want to join y'all? I want to do my own thing. I like working alone. I like being myself. I'm a loner. He hesitated. The advancement and those guys are incompatible with each other. I said nothing and started to look over the pioneers around me instead. Well, I don't have time. Can't you see that I'm always busy with the camp leader's errands? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's kind of embarrassing how it all went today with Liliana. I looked at him with surprise. Seems that Shirk blames himself for that cake accident. Yeah, it is. All the pioneers seem to be here, but I couldn't spot Sylvalia anywhere. I think she's angry with me. Who? I asked absently. Liliana. Maybe I should apologize. No, it's not your fault. We sat silently for a while, and then I stood up and said, My legs are numb, I better take a walk. They made no reply. Made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the closed looks of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga couldn't wait to come up with some kind of new task for me. I haven't found Sylvalia anywhere. Maybe I should go and try and find her. On the other hand, I felt sorry for Liliana every time I recalled her upset face. Maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing ever, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. How come when I click, can I talk to Alyssa and Lena and nothing happened? Like, really? Did I click the right thing? Because I'm really questioning myself. This really sucks. I hate that. I'm glad I can easily rewind compared to, like, me going back and saving. Because that's normally what you do during a visual novel. You quick save and then go back if you didn't make the wrong choice. I did! What the bleep but a bleep? Now I gotta go fast. I'm sorry, guys. I just keep thinking I didn't do it. At least it's really easy to go through with it. Honestly, there's probably a fast forward option, but I don't feel like looking for it right now. If I do another playthrough, I might. Well, if that's the case, probably going to one of those two. It'd be more like a romance option, so I'm probably not going to. I'm just gonna remain seated instead of, like, doing that. Since I can't pick the people I picked originally, what's the point in having a choice when you can't do what you want to do? Sat in my previous place and waited for the end of the hike patiently, almost physically able to feel the looks the camp leader aimed at me. At least she stood up and declared, "And now let's play cities." I had nothing against the game itself, but it was obvious that the hike will take longer because of the pioneer set around the fire. Notice Lena and Alyssa who took their places on a trunk opposite me. Seems that everything is alright. And just a few minutes ago, I thought the opposite while looking at their quarrel. But anything is possible. I'd really like to know what they were talking about, but it's impossible now, and I could feel tiredness growing in me more and more. My mind was completely blank. To be precise, my head was so heavy that there was no place in it for ideas to unfold. While in my better times my brain appeared to be a wide highway with millions of thoughts running by, chasing one another and causing major crashes, now it's more like a footpath lost in the woods, which it used rarely and only in exceptional cases. Savalia didn't come back. Maybe she had something to do. But once again, there's no way to find out now. Okay, let's start. Moscow. It's in Russia, isn't it? Because then again, I don't really know how Russia works, but in America, we have states, so everything's split up, so they might... I think in other countries, I know in Canada, they have provinces, but I don't know what it'd be called in Russia or anything like that. Pioneers started to name cities. Oh, maybe they're just random stuff. Finally, it's my turn. I don't only name Japanese cities or American cities. I don't know. Or I can name random cities that are in Europe, maybe. But other than that, nah. Try to listen closely to catch the first letter of the city I'll have to use. Arkhangelsk. We played several rounds. I probably said that name completely wrong. Each new city name made it harder to remember everything that was mentioned before. My attention was dissipating, and I was already lost in all these capitals, megalopolises, villages, and urban settlements. Simon, it's your turn. Olga brought me back to reality. Oh, excuse me, and what was the last one? You're daydreaming again. It was Sevastopol. That's actually making me think of Alien Isolation. I don't know if I won't play this game anymore, because I think that's the name in the one in Alien Isolation. I forgot what the one in the regular Aliens name was. It was the Nostromo. That's what it was. But yeah, Sevastopol was the ship that was in Alien Isolation and stuff. Okay, then I'll say London. Already used. Well then, you got me thinking. There were tons of cities in the world starting with an L, but it was hard to remember even one of them now. Liverpool? Already there. Los Angeles? Ah, finally. That's actually one I know. She gave me a scornful look, but the game went on. I thought when you named the wrong city, I thought you were count out. Maybe she doesn't want me out. I could hardly bear to think of another city starting with L, but fortunately, it was the last round. Okay, that's enough for today. It's already late. Time to go back. Decided with relief. On our way back, we walked as we liked without joining in pairs. Night descended upon a camp. Perfectly regular, normal night. It was one of those nights when dark sky, stars, and even a crescent moon don't cause any special feelings, and the chirping of crickets and the songs of the night birds seem more like routine work noises than a nocturnal chorus. In a few minutes, all the pioneers were lining up in the square. It was quite late already, and fatigue took its toll, so our lineup wasn't perfectly aligned. It looked to me more like a line of Vikings after a successful battle where the warriors are happy and smiling, anticipating their return to their families rather than thinking about maintaining correct formation. But someone else could possibly see a completely defeated troop or a bunch of survivors who have to march to their homeland with the last of their strength. Thanks, everyone. Now go to sleep. It's late already. Pioneers quickly each ran their own ways, and I was left together with the camp leader. We should go too. We went in complete silence to Olga's camp. Okay, let's sleep, she said, turning off the light. I was tossing and turning for quite a while, recalling all the events of the day. On the one hand, I was overcome with fatigue. On the other hand, I couldn't shake the feeling that I forgot something, done something wrong, said something wrong. And this feeling of incompleteness was tormenting me. It was about 2 a.m. All bad things would end sooner or later, or at least would take a break. I fell asleep. Ah, shiz, Sherlock. I'd assume you fall asleep. Day 6, yay! I'm on the 6th day of my life. Heck yeah. I don't know what time it was when Olga woke me up, but even before opening my eyes, I felt the imminence of death. My whole body ached, I felt dizzy, my mind was clouded by haze. Simon, wake up immediately or you'll miss breakfast, and more importantly, the lineup. Like, that's so important. Looks like the camp leader intends to exploit me to the fullest today, the same as any other day. Garbled something covered my head with a blanket and turned to the wall. In the end, Olga's anger will never go beyond words. At least, I really wanted to believe so then. Stood up right now, or what? I was going to state triumphantly, but kept silent. Not because of fear, just because I felt too hazy to open my mouth. Really? What could she do to me? Lecture me at the lineup, hang my photo on the wall of shame, or use me for an inhuman alien experiments? Well, I'm exactly for that too. Just let me sleep a couple hours. Okay, but if you miss the lineup... The door slammed behind the camp leader, and the sleep, which had been about to fade, claimed my mind again. I woke up dazzled by sunlight. It was 1 p.m. according to my cell phone, which was squeezing the last drops of charge out of its battery. Strangely enough, my body didn't ache, my head felt clear, and all in all, it was good beginning to the day. After waving my arms pretending to do early exercises, I sprang out of the cabin and headed to the washstands. Yeah, I slept through breakfast, but we'll be served lunch soon, so I shouldn't worry that I'll have to stay hungry like I did yesterday. Who is that? He scared me for a second there. I was like, oh my god, he doesn't have eyes. Along the way, I met a pioneer whose face somehow looked strangely familiar. But I was going so fast I couldn't really see him, and when I turned around, he was already gone around the corner. There is nobody near the washstands. Everyone is probably busy with Olga's tasks and God knows what else. I quickly brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was already going to leave when I suddenly heard the sound of water flowing from the opposite tap. Dude, he's creepy. I don't like how that he doesn't have eyes. Pioneer leaned against the washstand over there. I couldn't see his face, but judging by his figure, he looked like the one I saw a couple minutes ago. How are you doing? The sun's so bright today. I looked up in the sky, shielding my eyes with my palm. Yeah, nothing special. It wasn't easy to get a better look at the pioneer given the way he stood. The bright sunlight that reflected from the water and shiny metal surfaces of the washstands heavily obscured his face, and I wasn't able to distinguish any single feature. The camp leader is angry today, so angry. His voice sounded painfully familiar, too. Well, she's always like that. Well, you'd know better, yeah. I'm trying to remember if I've heard this voice or seen this pioneer before. Well, see ya. He turned the water off and quickly marched towards the forest path. For a second, I thought of following him, stopping him, but I quickly fought it off as decided that it's not worth spoiling such a great morning with suspicions and burdensome speculations. Nature was glowing with the bright light of life. Lush tree tops were rhythmically swaying in the wind, whispering to each other. The breeze gently struck the high emerald grass. Birds were cooing in the shade, escaping the midday heat. The woods and fields stretching beneath the horizon were dissolving in warm sunlight. I don't know which month it is now, but it looks like midsummer. I distinctly remembered the summer vacations of my childhood and youth, times of fun leisure and carefree joy. Childhood games, how many there were. I wouldn't say no playing war games or hide and seek now, or swinging on a bungee. Or maybe building a sandcastle and inhabiting it with toy soldiers ready to defend their masters to the last drop of their plastic blood. I went to the square and sat on the bench waiting for lunch. It looked like there wasn't much time left before it. From time to time, pioneers passed by me, sometimes alone, sometimes in pairs or groups of 3. But always someone I didn't know. Alyssa, Uliana, Lena, or Slavia were nowhere to be seen. Thoughts about the meaningless of existence were circling in my brain, but this didn't worry me on such a beautiful day. Just think about who could think of grieving for his life lived in vain or lost early while basking in the rays of such a friendly sun. Certainly not me. I looked upon Ginda. He was meditating as always. Now he definitely never gets any unnecessary doubts. Remember my first hours in this camp and the day before, the anguish, the anxiety, and fear? That all seems so far away now, although so little time has passed. Will I get out of here or not? It didn't concern me as much as before. Maybe I'm already dead. Then this is the last stop. Please get off the train. What are you thinking about? I looked up and saw the pioneer I'd seen before. I couldn't see his face again as the sun was shining in my eyes. You know, life. Cindy would sit down next to me, but the pioneer stayed in the same place, only half turn, which completely killed any hope of seeing his face. Listen, have we met earlier? I don't think I remember you. Well, let's say that you know who I am. But I don't. I laughed sincerely. Here, you don't. He answered short. I see. Honestly, it's not like I didn't want to talk. I just didn't know what to talk about, and my soul was so calm this didn't bother me. Your first time here? He asked a question, but his tone implied he was only expecting a confirmation. Yes, and you? Me? You paused for a few seconds. Nah, this is not my first time here. One might say that I visit this camp every year since my early childhood. Such an answer got me interested. Well, what was it like before? It's always the same. Olga being the camp leader, all the same pioneers around, all the same lineups at the morning, and all these wicked accidents. For a moment I thought that it was me speaking, not him. Interesting. It's just that with every he hesitated, year, more and more interesting things happen, and one gets to understand better what's going on. What are you talking about? This conversation positively triggered my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't distinguish the face of this pioneer at all. Well, every session in the pioneer camp reminds of the previous one, he said calmly. Probably. This is my first. It shows. Pioneer grinned. But it looks like it won't be the last. Well, it's fun here and all, but you know how they say, there's no place like home, but you still have to get back there. I was absolutely sure that this guy was hiding something from me. To be precise, he stood out too much from the camp's usual ordinariness and was too different from the local inhabitants. What do you mean? You think I'm stuck here forever or something? Said, enunciating every word. The pioneer had no time to answer as the lunch bell sounded. Turned my head towards the loudspeaker, and by the time I looked back, the guy was already gone. Thousands of theories and speculations instantly appeared in my mind, but I stopped myself remembering all the apparent normality of this camp. After all, nothing supernatural has happened in these 5 days. Moreover, everything here seemed too natural, sometimes even boring. Maybe this pioneer didn't mean anything by that, and I just misunderstood him. Thinking that I went to the canteen intending to feast. Sometimes it seemed to me that lunch here is akin to the crowds and around the soup kitchens during a famine. Pioneers are running around, pushing each other, trying to crawl through the first meal and take the most comfortable table. I was calmly standing impatiently waiting for the cook to get my assigned food rations. Orashaka is a traditional Russian cold soup. Cold soup, I don't think cold soup would taste very good, but maybe it actually does. I normally like my soup hot. For lunch today we had orashaka, which I didn't really like, and cutlets with potatoes. I sat in a corner and mentally rejoiced that I would be able to eat in peace. My table was the furthest from the kitchen. I could reasonably hope that the pioneers who were looking for a free place wouldn't reach it. Or would it reach it at last? However, when I moved on to the main course, Slavaya, Shirk, and Electronic appeared from the crowd. Can we? I had nothing against their company. Of course. Lunch was going surprisingly calmly. Even Electronic wasn't jabbering as he usually does. I finally finished the meal, sprawled in my chair, and satisfied clicked my tongue. Listen, do you know this pioneer? I saw him today. You know, I suddenly realized that I don't really know how to describe him. Well, about my height, same constitution. Hard to say from such a description. Sylvia smiled. Well, we have half a camp of such guys if it comes to that. All in all, they were right. Why are you asking? It's just that I met him today, and it seemed like I haven't seen him here before. Look in the canteen. I don't think he'll miss lunch. Why didn't I think of that? That's it. Okay, guys, enjoy your meal. Got up and started to slowly walk along the rows of tables. Lena and Xana are sitting over there. I gave them a friendly smile. Listen and Liliana are laughing and arguing about something. Olga is surrounded by pioneers. Good thing she didn't notice me. There are hardly any free seats, but the guy from this morning is nowhere to be seen. The situation is getting more and more interesting. Looks like I won't find him here. Maybe he already had lunch. I headed to the exit. was so hot outside that it seemed like you could instantly melt again after coming out of the shade. I suddenly felt like sleeping. I yawned and headed to the camp leader's cabin in order to follow the domestic interpretation of the Archimedes principle. In the end, Olga is unlikely to return anytime soon, at least I think so, and I will definitely have a couple of hours to rest. Anyways, I really don't expect any other options to arise, especially in this heat. The heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. I took my clothes off and jumped into bed. Crickets were lazily chirping outside. The wind was shaking the curtains on the windows, and I sank into a dream. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strangely, there was nobody on the doorstep. I rubbed my eyes and stepped out to look around. All the same, no one around. A dream, maybe? It was already 4 o'clock. I felt jaded. Probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon. After all, I knew what was going to happen. I put on my boots, left the cabin, and locked the door, but where shall I go? All in all, there is not much time till dinner. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself, so I went towards the beach. The sun has passed the midday mark a while ago. It gets dark early here in the south. I squinted and looked up at the flaming disk. Who was that just now? I flinched. The same mysterious guy was standing in front of me, and once again his face was hard to see due to the bright light. For a moment the sun blinded me, so I couldn't see anything besides the faint contours of objects. Are you stalking me? No, I was just passing by, he answered calmly. Then you should know better. So you haven't seen anyone? Correct. Rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly. I wasn't hungry, he laughed. I blinked a few times and my vision came back, but the pioneer had miraculously disappeared once again. What the hell is going on here? Now I was absolutely sure there was something strange about that guy. He must be directly related to everything happening around here. I still have to find out. But for starters, it's good to confirm that I am not mistaken and that he's not just a local pioneer. It was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder it's so hot outside. Olga was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on her army of pioneers. As soon as I thought that coming here might have not been the best idea, she noticed me. Hey Simon, you weren't at the lineup and in general you were just slouching around all day. Did not know how to answer. And just how are you planning on becoming a proper pioneer? She continued more softly. Olga, in the camp, is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised. Maybe, I don't know. Why do you ask? Oh, I'm just curious. Well, we have a lot of boys here. Alright, never mind. I was kind of wondering if that person was supposed to be like me, but maybe it's like a trapped version of me or something. I don't know, that'd be weird. Someone's yell came from the riverside and Olga rushed in its direction. Well, it looks like I will be spared and lectured. I lowered myself on the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few minutes of sitting here, Uliana approached me. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well, why are you sitting here all alone? Just thinking. About what? Decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you are chatting with a weird person, and you had to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. Simple, I would just ask them, she laughed. Too simple. But he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Uliana did not answer, just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out, and what if they know something but won't tell you? Make them! But how? For a bit longer we sat together, talking about random things, and then I got up, said goodbye, and went away. It's time to find the mysterious stranger and get all the answers. And I'm gonna be a jerk. I'm gonna cut off it right here, because doesn't that sound like a good area to cut off? Won't get all the answers today. I'm picking. I hope you guys enjoyed this video like always, and I'll see you guys again later. Bye.